Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about another horrifying case. This case is about disappearance of 5 children. So let's get into the story. On Christmas Eve 1945 in Fayetteville, West Virginia, George and Jenny Sodder and their 9 children were asleep in their home. A fire broke out at around 1 a.m. It was said to be caused by faulty wiring. George, Jenny, and 4 of the kids made it out, but 5 other children did not. The 5 children all slept in the upstairs bedroom, and George did everything to get his kids out of the house. He re-entered the house, but the stair was engulfed in flames. He then tried to go and get his ladder. It wasn't where it usually was. Someone has moved it. His final attempt to save them was by starting up his coal truck so he could drive them next to the house and get in through the window. But both of the trucks weren't working, despite them working the night before. One of their elder kids went to the neighborhood to get them to call the police station, but no one picked up. Someone had to go and physically find the fire chief, despite the fire department only being 2.5 miles away. It took them 7 hours to get to the Sodder house. By the time they got there, the house was ash. There was basically nothing left. It had burned down in 45 minutes, which is very short period of time for normal house fire. The site was searched extensively for bones and remains, and none were found. It was thought at first that maybe the fire was so hot and that it fully cremated all the bodies. But further research was done and that was not possible. Some household appearance survived the fire. They were in bad shape. But so why they can't find the bones? Death certificates were created for all 5 children. But George and Jenny started realizing that things weren't right, and they started theorizing that this wasn't an accident but arson and their kids had been kidnapped. There was some suspicious evidence. First was George had the wiring checked only months prior to the fire, and it was checked off and it deemed to be safe. Week before the fire, these kids were saying that they were being watched by these men. There was varied phone call on the night of the fire, and hour before the fire broke out, Jenny was awakened by a phone call. When Jenny picked it up, the person on the other end asked for a name she didn't know. When she was gonna hang up, there was a strange laugh on the other end of the phone. She also noticed that the light hadn't been turned off and it was Christmas Eve, so she allowed the kids to stay up late that night. But they told her that they'd turn everything off before going to the bed. This light is important because if it was a fire due to faulty electrics, the electric shouldn't have been working. The family also said that they saw lights on in house while the fire was burning. And as Jenny was going back to the bed that night, she heard something hit the roof and roll. It was also found phone wire was cut that way. It was cut between when Jenny asked the phone call and when fire started, between these 2 incidents. Also, no scream or anything were heard from the kids the night of the fire. George, the father, was big part of Italian community, and he had very strong political views that a lot of people did not agree with. Months before the fire, a salesman knocked out the door, asked George if he wanted to take out life insurance. George said no, thank you, and this salesman straight up and said, I don't like your politic views. Your house gonna be burned down. and your kid's gonna die. There were a lot of people claiming that they seen the missing Sodder kids. Another odd point is that the Sodder family actually contacted the FBI asking for their help. The FBI actually said that they can help, but if they got faithful office police stations agree. And the Fayetteville police station declined the FBI. It's a bit suspicious. So George and Jenny followed up every single tip they got. They would travel hours on a single trip. In 1968, Jenny actually got a letter. It did not have a return address on it. It was from Kentucky. In this letter, there was a picture of a man. He had same hair and the same features as the one of the missing children. They then sent a private detective and also he went missing. So both George and Jenny passed away without knowing the truth. To this very day, this case is still mystery. No one knows what happened to the 5 of Sodder kids on that night. If you'd like to know about more horrifying cases like this, please subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.